name's Chuck Collinsworth, and as promised, this is a short but very usable introduction to playing the blues. I'm going to take you through it step by step, and by the time we get to the end of the tape, you should have enough knowledge to be able to start developing your own blues playing ability, and after that, how far you go is pretty much up to you. It's fun and it's simple. Just don't get the idea that it's another learn to play in a day tape. It's not. You're going to have to learn the material, practice it to make it work for you. But it does work, and it is simple. Now, up front, I've put some basic theory and knowledge of the guitar, and if you already know this part, bear with me. You're all playing at different levels, and I want everybody that buys this tape to be able to use it. I'm going to start with the theory, the chord forms, seventh chords, and blues changes. Then I'll take you through the blues scales and patterns, and we'll end up with ninth chord substitutions, and that'll be the chorus. So if you're ready, open up your book and let's start. Section 1, a little usable theory. Now, this is going to be your reference page, in case you hit a snag going through the tape. And chances are, if you do hit a snag, you come back to this reference page, it'll probably straighten the problem out for you. And I'm going to give it to you short and sweet. Don't worry if you don't understand everything first time through, because you'll just pick it up as we go along. A major scale is made up of 8 tones, or sounds. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And these tones are numbered with Roman numerals, and they're called intervals or steps. Accidentals, also called chromatics, these are sharps and flats. A sharp will raise a tone a half step, G, G sharp. A flat will lower it a half step, G, G flat. The guitar fingerboard or fretboard is made up in half steps. 2 frets will give you a whole step or an interval. All intervals are whole steps except B to C and E to F. These are half steps. Your musical alphabet consists of the letters A through G, then you start with A again. You can use the letters to form scales, and you can start with any letter and start that and make a scale out of it. For instance, if we're going to do a scale of C, we would start with interval 1 as the C and just go through 8 tones. Interval 2 would be D, interval 3 would be E, that's all in the key of C. So you'd play C, D, E, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Key of B flat, we would substitute B flat for 1. We also call that the root or the tonic, T-O-N-I-C. So you'd start with B flat and play the notes in the B flat family. So B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, A, B flat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 12 major scales or keys. You don't have to go through and memorize all the notes and all the scales, but I'm going to be showing you, making you familiar really on the neck of the guitar where your notes are so that you're able to play in different keys and you don't end up just being a one-key blues player. Stop and review. I put this at the end of each section so that the nice part about having the tape, of course, is so that you can go back and run it as many times as you need to grasp the material before you go on to the next section. So why don't you stop here and review, then go on to section 2. Section 2. Well, now that you're familiar with the reference page, let's go on to section 2, which is the fingerboard and the blues intervals. But first, let's tune your guitar. Chances are you've already got an inexpensive electronic tuner. They're usually $20 or less. But just in the event that you don't have one handy, I'm going to give you, a tone of about 10 seconds on each string so that you can get tuned to me. And it's going to be standard E tuning. And just incidentally, the strings are counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, not the other way around. And for practice or lessons' sake, I guess you'd call it, fingers are counted 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? So here's your tones. Okay, here's string 1, your tone. String 2. String 3. 4, string 5, string 6. Now that we're in tune, look at the markings on your fingerboard. On some guitars, your markings actually start on the 1st fret, some on the 3rd, some on the 5th. But these markings help you to locate the notes on the neck of the instrument. And we're going to learn all the notes from strings 5 and 6 because we need that to do the chorus. String 6, when it's played open, that's an E. Half step up is F, 1st fret, 3rd fret's G, 5th fret is an A, 7th fret is a B, and then half step, 8th fret is a C, D, 12th fret is another E. Now on string 5, when you play it open, it's an A. Half step up is an A sharp or B flat. 3rd fret's a C, 5th fret is a D, 7th fret is an E, half step up to F, to G, to A on the 12th fret. Now you'll notice that we skipped every other fret, from 1 to 3 to 5 and so forth. That's where you put your sharps and flats. That's the one in between. And if you're thinking of writing from F up to G, you write up, that's F, then F sharp, G, G sharp, A. If you're writing down or moving down, and then it's A to A flat, same as G sharp, of course, G, G flat to F. All right, blues intervals, your 1, 4, 5 changes. What does that mean exactly? Well, we've already said that we've got 8 intervals or 8 tones. We base the sound of the 4 and the 5 on whatever the first interval is. For instance, in the key of C, our 1 would be C, our 4 would be F, and our 5 would be G. So that's the sound that we would get with the 1, 4, 5 intervals. Now, any tune's made up of 2 parts. You've got a melody and you've got a set of chords. And as you play through the tune, you change the chords back and forth to harmonize with the melody. Certain chord changes best fit certain kinds of music. They're harmonious, they just sound right. And changes based on the sound of the 1, 4, 5 intervals in any key best fit the blues when they're put in the right order. Now that's where using a musical staff and counting time comes in. Musical staff's like a map. It gives us the melody and it gives us the chords and it tells us when to change the chords. And it's broken into bars or measures of music by the use of those bar lines that you see there. Playing music, music has a certain feel to it, which we get by the number of beats that we put in a measure of music. The blues we're going to play in 4/4 time. Tap your foot 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. You've just counted out a measure of 4/4 time. If you look down on the page there, it says common time equals 4/4 time. That's just another way of saying 4/4 time. That little C there in your key signature stands for common time, or 4/4 time. Now to the right of that, you see a few measures of 4 beats to the measure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You might think of using that foot like a metronome. Use either foot, but use it to count and keep yourself even. Below that's an example of a bar chart in the key of C. You play 4 beats in C, 4 beats in F, 8 beats back to the C. Don't worry if you don't know those chords that I just played, those chord forms, because you're going to learn those in section 3. So stop, review, and I'll see you for section 3. Section 3, using a bar chart. Now we're going to be working in the key of B flat for learning. We're going to start out with one finger. We're going to play the one finger B flat blues. So locate B flat on the 6th string. It's 6 frets up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now your 4 change, we're going to be using the 1, 4, 5 changes. Your 4 change is directly under that 1 on the 5th string. And your 5 change is 2 frets up, or 1 step, back to the 1. So that's in the key of B flat. We've got B flat as your 1, E flat as your 4, and F as your 5. So put your finger on B flat, then just follow your chart. Play through all the way through to the first ending. Play the first ending. There's 2 dots there. Go back to the beginning and play through again. Then you play through the whole thing again. When you get to the endings this time, second time through, you jump over the first ending and play the second ending. So I'm going to give us count of 4. Tempo. I'll set the tempo, or the rate of speed. That's what tempo means, that we're going to play at. And it'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to start. All right, you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 4. Back to your 1. To your 4. Back to your 1. Jump up to your 5. Down to your 4. First ending. 5. And repeat. 4. Back to your 1. To your 4. To your 1. To your 5. To your 4. Second ending. You've just played your first blues. Of course, it would have sounded a lot better if we'd been able to play it with a full chord instead, or full chords instead of just the finger. So let's learn the 7th chords, the blues chords, dominant 7ths or 7th chords. We're going to learn 2 forms, Form 3 and Form 2. Now, these are not chords when we start out. They're just forms. They become particular chords when you put a root to them. For instance, if we made this form and we had as our tonic, or our first note, the F, which is on the 6th string, 6th string, 1st fret, and we formed the chord there, we've got an F7th. Now we've been working in B flat, so we go up 6 frets. Let's make it there. You lay that finger there, that's your tonic. Make the rest of your chord, and you've got a B flat 7th chord. Now our 4 and 5 changes are on the 5th string, so we've got to have a different form to cover those. So then Form 2 would be the one that we use for number 4, and then interval number 5. So 1, 4, 5, 1. Now how do we form these? Let's take Form 3 first, and we're going to work on B flat. See, the fingers are written out, which fingers you use at the bottom of this form. We lay the first finger across the B flat, all the way across. Then we go up 2 frets and put the 3rd finger down on the 5th string. 5th string from the bottom, remember. Then we put the 2nd finger on the 3rd string from the bottom. And that's your chord form, a B flat 7th. Squeeze with the thumb and the fingers, play all the way through. Now, if we're going to make Form 2 to cover the 4th and 5th interval changes, you would take the first finger, put it over the first 5 strings, skip a fret and put the 3rd finger on the 4th string. Then take the 4th finger and put it on the 2nd string. Play the 4 inside notes. And that would be the form that you use for the 4th and 5 interval changes. So 1, 4, 5, 1. You want to practice these 2 forms until you can change back and forth without dropping the time to do it. And even if you have to do it in a slow modes, like that slow, fine. You can always add speed later on. But practice it till you can do that. Then go back and play that bar chart using chords instead of just the single note. Use the chords. The next thing is, incidentally, when we're talking bar chart, I didn't explain that. When we were talking before, we said that the map is your musical staff. Well, we're just using the bar chart here, the chart of the changes, because we don't have a melody. The blues doesn't have a set melody that we're playing, so that's called just a bar chart. I wanted to get that in. I want to play the 12-bar chart for you slowly so that you can follow along with your finger and count the bars and count the beats in the bars. The next time through, you might play it again and play the one-finger blues against my chords. When you get the chords down well enough so that you can change them without dropping the time, then play chords with me. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 chord. Ba-da-da-doo-dee. 4 chord. Ba-da-da-doo-dee. Back to the 1 chord. Ba-da-da-doo-dee-dee. Ba-da-dee-dee-dee-dee. Your 4 chord. Boo-da-da-doo-da-doo. If you look, it says learn the 1, 4, 5 patterns in many keys, obviously, so that you're not a one-key blues player. So go down to the F. Excuse me. 4, 5s played with the chords. F sharp. Just go up in half steps, and you're playing blues in many, many keys. Now we're going to play the 12-bar blues chart for you with some lead so that you can get used to following the chart while you're listening to a group. And my son Chris is going to be on bass, and one of my students, Tyler Ewer, is going to be on the second guitar. Just use your foot, use your finger, and follow the chart. Next time through, you might try playing the one-finger blues along with us. And once you are ready, go back and play your chords with us. 1, 2, 3, 4. stop and review, and then we'll go on to Section 4. Section 4, the blues scales and patterns, and also soloing. Now, except for the ninth chord substitutions at the end, the rest of this tape is devoted to making you into a solo player. And the system's simple. All you have to do is learn the fingering and the timing with me, and you'll know it. So, look at your blues scale. To the right of the word string is F6 in a little box. That F indicates the fret that you're going to play on or start on. The circled number is the string. The notes, the numbers above the circle, that's the finger or fingers that you're going to be using on that particular string. Give it a try. F6, string 6, third finger. Then it says go to string 5 with the first finger. Okay. So let's learn how to do that. Start 6th fret, third finger, and go to the first finger on the 5th string. That little dash means slide, so you slide up 2 frets or 1 whole step. Play 1, 2, 3. Then go to the next string down, which is your 4th string, and play 1, 3. Then go to the 3rd string, just continuing down, first finger. Then it says slide again. 2, 3, 2, 4, 2. And you played the blues scale. You want to learn this really well because all of the patterns are based on that blues scale. Starts out 3, 1, slide, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, slide, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. So I'm going to go through it really slow again for you so that you can practice it. 3, 1, slide, 1, 2, 3, next string, 1, 3, next string, 1, slide, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2. Now, if you'll notice, when you're playing solo, you want to cover 4 frets with your fingers. Each finger is going to be devoted to a particular fret. The lead finger is going to go down first. In this case, it's 3rd finger, so that would lay down first. Then the other fingers would go proportionally like so. Now that you've learned the fingering, the next step is counting it out. Again, tap your foot 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's counting out a measure of 4 times. Each tap or count is equal to what's called a quarter note, and there are 4 quarter notes in a measure of music. Or if you double up, and you would have 8 eighth notes in a measure of music. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You count the downs and the ups. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Your and is your up. So look at your count there on the blues scale. It says 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then again 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, because your blues scale covers 2 measures of music. Now to make counting easier, you might try what I tell my students to use. Use ba-da. Ba is down, da is up. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and would be ba-da, 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 ba-da. Basic patterns. Now you're into soloing. And all of these patterns are taken right from that scale that you've learned and practiced. So we're going to play part 1. Start on F6. F6. 6th string, 3rd finger. Goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now let that count finish out in any pattern that you play. Then that count is finished out. You see that there's an extra 4 little beats in a box. So you count after the playing. You go 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we go on to the second one. Starts on F8 with the 5th string, 3rd finger, and goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Again, 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go to the third part. Starts on F8, string 5. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Same place, F8. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. So you see we finished our first 4 parts. Now the 5th part starts on F8 on the 4th string. We're playing the second part of the scale, the upper part. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Part 6. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's go on with the patterns. Pattern 2 sounds like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Pattern 3 can be played as one long pattern with 2 parts, or you can play pattern 1 and use it as just pattern 1, or the second part by itself. So altogether it sounds like, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and second part. Now moving on to pattern 4, it's a little different. It's going to give you a chance to play 2 strings at the same time. You'll notice we start on F8, 4th string, 3rd finger. Then it says 1st finger, and it's got 2 and 3, so that's the 2nd and 3rd strings. You hit with your 1st finger. So you would go. Then back with the 3rd finger on the 4th string. So then it says 2nd and 3rd strings. Again, only this time we're using the 3rd finger. So we go. And then back to the 4th string and 1st finger again. And finish off with the 3rd finger on the 4th string. So it goes. The count is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And that's pattern 4. Now, let's try doing some combinations, combining these. Try combining part 1 of pattern 1 with pattern 4. And it's shown like 1, 1 in a box plus 4 in a box. And we've got 4 counts in between. So we'd start back with 1, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, then play number 4. We'll do that again slowly because that's your first combination. 1, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 4. 2, 3, 4. Make sure you let that count finish on each pattern. Now reverse it. Play number 4 and 1, 1. Number 4. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 1. Now try 3, 1, which is part 1 of pattern 3, and 1, 1, which is part 1 of the basic pattern. And it would go 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, put them all together. We've got 3, 1 plus 1, 1, 4 beats in between, then 4 plus 1, 1. So it sounds like 3, 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 4. 1, 2, and back to 1, 1. You see how those fit together, and you're playing blues. Now, pattern 5 can be played two ways. The first one, we would start on the and, 1 and 2 and like so. So it'd be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or start right on the 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. That's pattern 5. Now try combining 5 and 4. And let's take the simple one, starting right on the 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Now try combining 3, 1 with number 5. So pattern 3, part 1, and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a good place to stop and review and get these down, and then come back and we'll do some more. Next is pattern 6, and that goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Now let's try some combinations. 1, 1 plus 6 plus 4. So 1, 1 would be 6, 4. Now here's a little tip for you. When it shows there's no extra beats in between, you might count 1 between them, like so. Playing that same combination again. 1. 1. Now, you'll note that I'm putting plenty of workable patterns in this, and I'm reading right from your book. You can use as many or as few as you want. Learn them all now or save some for later. To this point, you can see with only 6 patterns, you have many, many combinations available. Now, I'm going to play the chart again for you, slowly again, so that you can get a chance to practice some of the patterns and the combinations against it. The object, of course, is to match the patterns with the counts to the bars in the chart. And it should be harmonious. Any of the patterns that you pick out should be pretty harmonious with the chart. Just remember one thing, some of your patterns are a little longer than others. So make sure that when you choose the patterns that you choose them to fit together with the right number of beats to match the beats in the bar. Okay? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, you can play this each time that you learn a few new patterns, and you also might want to tape record yourself playing the changes, playing the chart, so that you can then play patterns against your own playing and tape them at different speeds. you might want to try it in different keys. If you want to play in different keys, go up, say if you want to play in the key of C, go up, find C on the 8th fret, then play your scale, just transfer it to here. And transfer your patterns, like number 4. You're playing it in C. Then learn your scales well. Then it's very easy to transfer to any key that you want. From C, you might want to go to A. If I were playing A, number 4, it's that simple. Now I'm going to show you 3 tricks of the trade that'll help you to really sound more bluesy when you're making these patterns. The first is a slide. If you're going to be on this fret here, start 2 frets down and slide up to it. The next one is like a string bend. You play a string and bend up. And the last is a vibrato. So if I wanted to combine the 3, I would go. Okay? So you can use those. Pattern 7. 2, 3, 4 again. We're starting F8, 4th string, 3rd finger. Slide. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's pattern 7. Now let's put 4 and 7 together, and there's no extra beats in between, so 4 would be 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. So now if we tried the 4 and 7 again, and let's say that we use those little tricks I showed you. The slide, the string bend, and the vibrato. 2, 3, 4. Wasn't real clean, but you get the idea on using the slide, the string bend, and the vibrato. Now, pattern 8 starts on F9, 1st string, 2nd finger, and goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So now if we try 8 and 4 together, it goes 1. Now we're going to try some string bending, and the key is that little arrow means bend the string at that point. Now pattern 9 is made up of 2 parts. You can play it all as a continuous 1 plus 2, or you can play the first part, 2, 3, 4, or you could play part 2 by itself. Or you can put them together and play 3, 4. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. That's pattern 9. Now try 4 and 2nd part of number 9. So you would go 2, 3, 4. Pattern 10. Now this can be played as one long pattern, or it can be played in 2 separate parts. Now if you'll notice in part 2 there, we've got strings 2 and 3, like number 4. But above we've got 3 and 1. That's 3rd finger, playing 2 and 3, and then 1, playing 2 and 3. So if I played pattern 10 all the way across, it sounds like... that's pattern 10. Now, try pattern 10-1 plus 10-2 plus 4. So it would be okay, pattern 11 can be played in one long string, or it can be played in two parts, combined with something else. The second part. Now try 11-1 and 11-2 plus 4. So it would be pattern 12. Again, you can play it as one long one, or you can play two parts to it. Or you can take it and play different parts. Now let's combine 12, part 1, plus go back and get number 6 and number 4. So we would have Now, you might want to have examples of patterns just to fit your 4 and your 5 change. So here's an example of a few patterns to fit the 4 change. Pattern A would start on F9, string 2, 4th finger, and go. See how it fits against the 4 change? Pattern B starts on F5, 1st finger. Now we might try a combination of B plus A plus 1, 2. So B would be, A would be, and 1, 2 would be. Pattern C starts on F5, 1st finger and 4th string. All right, let's try a combination of C plus A. Let's try C plus B. Now try adding 5 to either one of them. C plus A plus 5. Examples of patterns for the 5 change. Take pattern D, starting on F10, 3rd finger, 3rd fret, and a bend. Pattern E. Now, 5 to 4 changes. You might try D, which would start out on F10, 3rd string, 3rd finger, plus A, which would start out on F9, 2nd finger, and that would sound like four to 5. Try D plus E. And you might add a 4 after that. All right, stop and review. Now here's some combined extended patterns, and they're combinations of patterns that you've already done, but they make some very interesting combinations. Pattern 1A extended would sound like F6, 6th string, 3rd finger to start. Now here's pattern 1B extended. we start on the 6th fret, 3rd finger, go the 5th finger and do the regular slide, then go back to the 4th fret, do 1 and then slide back up, 1, 2, 3, then go to the 4th string, 1, 3, 3rd string, 1, 3, 4th string, 3, and 3rd string, 1. Now, if you tried that with the 4 on the end of it, listen to this. Pattern 1C extended. 3, 1, slide, 1, 2, 3, back to the 6th string. Now if you try 1C plus 4, pattern 1D extended. Starts on the 5th string, F8, 3rd finger. Pattern 1D extended. With the 4 on it. Now I'm going to show you dominant 9th chords, and you can substitute these for 7th chords. In other words, if I wanted to get a bigger blues sound, this is your 7th chord. A 9th chord sounds like. When we go to the form for number 4 and 5 interval changes, if we put a 9th there, 7th. So then if we were going to play a little bit of the 1, 4, 5 blues, would be 1, 4. That's your 1. Okay? Let's figure out how to make these now. Form 1, it says the 3rd of the scale. So what that means is if we're in B flat, our 1 is B flat, 6th fret, 6th string. 1, 2, 3. So we start on the 5th fret, 1st finger. And then beneath you see 1, 3, 2, 4. That's the fingering. So 1, next fret, 3, then 2 on the 5th fret, and 4 on the 6th fret. If you want to, you can play with the 4th string or 4th finger. You cover 2 strings, so you can either get. Okay. Now for form 2, that's for your 4 and 5 changes. So on this one, you would put your tonic where your 4 starts. You put your 2nd finger down, then 1, then 3, 3, 3. That means bar with the 3rd finger, and play. And substitute your 9th chord for all of your 7th chords all the way through those 2 forms. Now, you've got enough patterns to give you the direction and framework I promised you. As your ear develops, don't be afraid to go outside the framework I've laid down. That's how you develop your own sound. I appreciate you staying with me. I hope that this was worth it to you. I hope that you'll put the effort in to become the best blues player that you can.